You ever pick up 2 glasses of clear alcohol and suddenly feel like you're taking an exam you didn't study for? One of them is vodka. One of them is gin. They look the same. They shimmer the same. And if you swirl them dramatically, they even judge you the same. But somehow, one tastes like absolutely nothing. And the other tastes like someone bottled a pine forest during its holiday season. And just when you think you've figured it out, your taste buds file a complaint. I'm Professor Everything, and today we'll be answering the question, what's the difference between vodka and gin? Right here on Explaining Everything. Vodka and gin start with the same basic idea. Ferment something starchy or sugary, distill it into alcohol, bottle it, and hope for the best. But here's where they fork into completely different personalities. Vodka is the spirit that tries very, very hard to have the least personality possible. Its entire mission is to be neutral, clean, smooth, almost flavorless. If vodka could talk, it would whisper, "I am here, but please don't notice me." Gin, on the other hand, is vodka's dramatic cousin who shows up wearing a floral crown and 3 scarves. Instead of being neutral, gin insists on having a signature flavor, and that flavor must, by law, be dominated by juniper berries. That's why gin tastes like a pine tree that went to culinary school. Even if a gin brand uses 12 or 20 exotic botanicals, the juniper has to stand out. Or else it isn't legally gin. Gin doesn't apologize for this. Gin has confidence. Both vodka and gin begin with a fermented base made from things like grains, potatoes, or sugar beets. After fermentation, they're distilled to separate alcohol from everything else, which is basically the liquid version of removing all the nonsense from your life. But from here on, vodka and gin take different career paths. Vodka gets distilled over and over until it's extremely pure. The goal is to strip away flavor, aroma, and anything that might suggest it has an opinion. Regulations in many countries, including the United States, define vodka as a neutral spirit without a distinctive character. So yes, vodka's whole personality is team player. Gin begins with a similar distilled alcohol, but then it gets infused or redistilled with botanicals. Juniper is the star, but distillers often add citrus peel, coriander, angelica root, cinnamon, cardamom, or whatever else they think will make the gin taste like it reads poetry on weekends. The important thing is that gin ends up flavorful, aromatic, and ready to be noticed. Let's talk taste, because this is where the difference becomes hilariously obvious. Vodka tastes clean and crisp, with a very subtle character that varies slightly depending on its base ingredients. Some taste a little earthy, some taste a little grainy, and some taste like nothing at all except existential honesty. Vodka is basically the introvert of the liquor world, quiet, calm, and never asking for attention. Gin, meanwhile, walks up to your tongue and introduces itself loudly. The juniper gives it a piney, herbal flavor, often accompanied by citrusy or spicy notes, depending on the botanicals used. Gin doesn't try to hide. Gin wants you to know exactly what you're drinking. If vodka whispers, gin is out here performing slam poetry about trees and herbs. Historically, vodka dates back centuries in Eastern Europe, with both Russia and Poland claiming early versions of it. Early vodka was much rougher than modern versions and was sometimes used medicinally, which, given the alcohol levels, probably cured boredom more than anything else. Over time, vodka evolved into the clean, neutral spirit we know today. Gin's story starts in the Netherlands in the 1600s with a medicinal drink called Geneva, which was flavored heavily with juniper because people back then thought juniper cured everything except bad decisions. English soldiers discovered it during the 80 Years' War, took it home, and then the British public enthusiastically said, "Yes, this is fun," and turned it into full-on gin. That's how a Dutch medicine became an English identity crisis. Even though vodka and gin look like identical twins in the same glass, the rules that define them make sure they never get confused. Vodka must be distilled to a high purity level and kept neutral. It can be made from almost anything, as long as the final result tastes clean. Gin, however, is required to have juniper as its dominant flavor, no matter what other botanicals show up to the party. So if someone ever hands you a gin that doesn't taste like gin, congratulations. You're drinking vodka that got mislabeled by an optimist. So what's the difference between vodka and gin? Vodka is neutral, quiet, and smooth, like the friend who always shows up but never causes problems. Gin is bold, botanical, and unmistakably pine-kissed, like the friend who insists you smell their new essential oils. They may look alike in the glass, but one is designed to stay subtle, while the other is designed to stand out. Now you can walk confidently into a bar, knowing exactly which clear liquid is which, and you won't have to panic. Google under the counter, or pretend you suddenly lost your hearing. If you enjoyed this botanically dramatic, flavor identity crisis written tale of vodka versus gin, hit that like button and subscribe for more hilarious explanations about the everyday world. And if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.